You don't get nervous, do you?
I actually don't. Like, who has been the most exciting person for you tonight?
Oh my God.
Besides me.
According to insiders, this wasn't a one-off moment of drama. It was years in the making. Spielberg and Lawrence, two men who have worked with literal legends, have apparently had enough of Zegler's so-called diva antics. And when these two speak, Hollywood listens. Let's rewind the tape. Rumors about Rachel Zegler being difficult, entitled, and disrespectful have swirled around for years, but that was all hearsay. Until now. Insiders say Spielberg has allegedly labeled her a set killer. Yep, the same man who molded performances from Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, and literally half the Academy Awards stage supposedly couldn't deal with her. Meanwhile, Francis Lawrence, who helped launch Jennifer Lawrence into the stratosphere, reportedly considers Rachel a director's nightmare. Suddenly, the word blacklisted wasn't just fan speculation anymore. It became the secret code floating around every major casting table in Tinseltown. And it wasn't just whispers. There were leaks, call logs, crew memos, frantic texts from producers. The receipts are piling up, y'all. And they all scream one thing. Rachel wasn't just challenging, she was disastrous for productions. Let's talk West Side Story, Spielberg's passion project. On paper, it was supposed to be Rachel's star-making moment. A fresh-faced newcomer getting the role of Maria, a literal dream. But according to sources, it turned into a nightmare. From day one, Spielberg apparently sensed something was off. She allegedly questioned blocking directions mid-scene, nitpicked camera angles, and even had the audacity to critique legendary dialogue. Girl, what? This wasn't just confidence, it was chaos. Relighting text reportedly got eye rolls. She refused reshoots unless her creative input was honored. Spielberg tried to keep calm. The man's been through Hollywood wars. But when award season came and Rachel allegedly started acting like she was the one doing Spielberg a favor by showing up, that's when it snapped. He allegedly picked up the phone, made 2 lightning-fast calls to studio execs, and the message was brutal. Never again. Then came the kicker. Zegler did an interview where she very pointedly threw shade at old-school directors who can't handle strong women. The industry got the subtext immediately. She was talking about him. That, insiders say, is the moment Spielberg didn't just drop her, he declared war. Suddenly, casting execs were labeling her high risk. Directors pulled out. Meetings vanished into thin air. Her phone, silent. And while Spielberg was quietly, ice-cold cutting her out, Francis Lawrence was reportedly having his own personal meltdown across the ocean on the Polish set of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Francis was hoping to revive the Hunger Games universe. Instead, he got what insiders now call the Zegler zone. Day one, Rachel allegedly strolled in, acting like she was the franchise. Crew members treated like interns. Rewrite demands. Constant, she reportedly refused a key costume because it didn't reflect modern femininity. Mid-shoot walk-offs over camera angles, meltdowns over fictional song lyrics, you name it. Filming days that should have wrapped in 10 hours allegedly stretched into grueling 16-hour marathons, all because Rachel wanted to debate the emotional realism of made-up lyrics in a YA prequel. Production staff whispered her name like a ghost story, calling those chaotic weeks the Zone. Think Twilight Zone meets Mean Girls. Then came the critics. Evie magazine ripped her apart, calling her portrayal of Lucy Gray cringy, arrogant, and miscast.
I think Rachel Zegler was miscast. I'm not trying to be shady, but she doesn't look happy. She's not really smiling.
And here's where it gets brutal. Insiders say Francis Lawrence agreed with them, reportedly told Lionsgate execs, "I'll never babysit that attitude again." Let that sink in. The man who helped make Jennifer Lawrence an icon, completely done with Zegler. Here's where things go full thriller movie. In late 2024, after wrapping post-production, Francis Lawrence didn't call a PR team or the studio. He called someone who knew the pain, Steven Spielberg. Sources say it was just a few minutes of venting. But honey, it was nuclear. A grip allegedly overheard the call on speakerphone and leaked it to a YouTube commentator. And from there, boom. Spielberg reportedly said she weaponizes her image but has no respect for the craft. And Lawrence fired back with she acts like she's doing us a favor, like she is the franchise. Those weren't just complaints. Insiders say that moment became the start of a pact, a warning, a campaign, a whisper network. They started calling it the Zeg effect. And when Spielberg and Lawrence start warning producers, agents, and other directors to protect their crews from someone, that name gets flagged hard. And that's when the industry started shutting down around her. Warner, Universal, and even Paramount allegedly pulled out of deals when Spielberg's assistant advised against working with her. Her team, full panic mode. Her manager reportedly sent out mass emails pitching her at discounted rates for indie projects. Crickets. Not even a pity audition. Nothing. Because when 2 of the most respected names in the game say stay away, you listen. Hollywood may love a comeback, but it lives for takedowns. And baby, this was one with box office receipts and director gossip to match. Just when it seemed like Rachel Zegler's reputation couldn't get any worse, March 2025 rolled in like a wrecking ball and took her last shot at relevance with it. The highly anticipated Snow White remake, carrying a mind-blowing $350 million 0 cents budget, finally hit theaters. This was supposed to be her redemption arc, her I'm still a princess moment. Instead, it flopped harder than a straight-to-DVD sequel. The domestic opening, a dismal $43 million 0 cents. Vanity Fair insiders didn't even hold back. They allegedly blamed the entire disaster on Rachel's non-stop PR missteps. And that's saying a lot considering the mountain of issues that usually plague big budget film. Like, let's not forget, this was the moment Rachel could have rebranded, could have smiled her way into forgiveness, but Disney didn't even trust her enough to do a red carpet. No junkets, no press rounds. You know why? Because according to insiders, the studio feared she'd make yet another viral, tone-deaf comment about hating the original Snow White or reimagining femininity in a way that would tank box office sales even further. They weren't protecting her, they were protecting themselves. Behind the scenes, the word was out. Disney had reportedly flagged her internally with a do not hire tag. When Disney does that to the face of your princess reboot, you're done, period. As if this Hollywood horror story needed a final act, 1 week after the Snow White flop, the two men who allegedly orchestrated her silent cancellation were spotted grabbing lunch together. Sources say it wasn't about revenge. Not at all. It was about recovery. They sat down to swap notes on what Rachel Zegler had allegedly wrecked. Sets, morale, budgets, trust. They weren't laughing. They weren't gloating. They were furious. Professionally furious. And when they got up from that table, they allegedly made one chilling vow. If the studios won't protect our crews, we will. That message spread like wildfire. Agencies heard, casting directors tensed up. The blacklist wasn't whispered anymore, it was practically policy. That same week, Zegler posted a cryptic tweet that read, "Silence is violence." The tweet was deleted just 10 minutes later, but the internet moves fast. Screenshots spread faster than her PR team could breathe. Everyone read between the lines. That was her screaming into the void, a last-ditch attempt to call out the industry for icing her out. But baby, that silence she was talking about? That was Hollywood closing its doors. Here's what makes Rachel's situation next level shocking. This isn't your usual cancel culture drama. There was no expose, TVD mugshot. No TMZ mugshot, just a slow, surgical extraction from relevance. Hollywood doesn't always destroy careers with a headline. Sometimes it's a series of unanswered emails, meetings that never get rescheduled, roles that aren't available anymore. Zegler didn't fall off, she was pushed. Silently, strategically. This all exposed the real inner workings of industry power. While the public argues over trending hashtags and who should be held accountable, the real canceling happens over lunch, on calls, in DMs between execs. Spielberg and Lawrence didn't scream, they whispered, but when those two whisper, the whole damn town listens. What makes this story hauntingly effective is how it weaponizes respect. Spielberg and Lawrence didn't go to war because Rachel Zegler had a bad day or flubbed a line. They allegedly turned on her because she disrespected the craft. She came into rooms full of people who had been shaping cinema since before she was born and allegedly acted like she was doing them a favor by even being there. And in Hollywood, that's a cardinal sin. According to insiders, Spielberg once told a colleague, she doesn't care about the work, she cares about the spotlight. And in an industry obsessed with longevity and legacy, that statement is pure venom. Now, some observers have started raising a provocative point. Was this just a generational clash gone nuclear? Rachel represents the new wave, social media first, brand savvy, and unafraid to challenge traditions. Spielberg and Lawrence? They're the old guard, men who built Hollywood around hierarchy, structure, and the idea that directors direct and actors listen. So when Zegler allegedly marched in with her Gen Z entitlement and Instagram wisdom, asking for line rewrites and challenging legendary directors, it was like tossing gasoline on a legacy bonfire. To be fair, some in the industry are torn. A few quiet voices have whispered, is she being held to an unfair standard because she's a woman who speaks up? But those voices are drowned out by another, louder reality. Zegler didn't just challenge norms. She allegedly bulldozed through them without any grace. She didn't just push back, she reportedly disrespected the room. One anonymous producer dropped a dagger of a quote to a mid-tier gossip blog. Likes and retweets don't make movies. Teamwork does. Whew, let that one breathe. And that's what so many people inside the business have been whispering, that Rachel mistook her online platform for real power. She forgot that, at the end of the day, movie sets aren't Twitter threads. They're giant, complex machines run by hundreds of people, and the lead actor doesn't just show up with opinions. They show up ready to collaborate. That's what allegedly made her radioactive. Not her beliefs, not her politics, but her behavior.